everyone. Welcome back to the In Your Favor podcast. I am your host, Jesi Carroll, and today I have a really special guest, somebody that is near and dear to my heart, and I can't wait to share her with you. But before I do, something I've tried to share on this podcast is that it's really about how to live an intuition-led life, right? Like how to lead with your gut, how to trust yourself, and to show you what life gets to look like from doing that. And so I've been really intentional with who I bring on the show. And so without further ado, let me introduce you. So Tahnee Halverson is here. She is a holistic nutritionist. She's the founder of the Gut Mechanic Institute of Health or Healing. And she is just somebody that I got to meet because she personally helped me heal after years of kind of screwing my body over, not realizing it until I was like breaking down. So I'll let you, kind of start wherever you want to start.
How did we meet? Remind me.
Yeah.
Remember for the life of me.
Okay, so I know that we know each other through Brie Morrison technically
Okay.
because she's been my friend for a while, and then I know that you guys were connected. And I think that's how I think I saw you on her Instagram story. And that was at a point when I was like praying for answers. And I remember without even thinking, and that's where I was like, I don't think that I did this. I think it was my gut booked a call with you. And then I didn't even really remember doing it. I was like, did I just black out? Like this is on my calendar. I don't remember doing that. And yeah, and it was pretty much history ever since. Like I remember I got off the call with you and I started bawling because I was like, oh my God, I think that I just found my answered prayer.
It's so interesting because I don't know if I told you this on our first call, but I I pray to find the women who are searching for answers, and they always come to me. And so anytime I'm connected with a woman, I know it's meant to be. And so it's just always interesting because you guys say the same thing to me.
Oh,
That
wow.
you're really searching for the person who's going to help you. And so I know it's divine intervention. Whatever you believe, there's always a reason for everything. So, anyways, I just love it.
I love that. That is so cool. And it just shows that magic is real.
Yeah,
You
sure
know?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So remind me, so you're in Idaho. For some reason in my head, you're always in either Arizona or Utah. And then you're like, no, I'm in Idaho. I'm like, wait.
Yeah. So I work from home with my business, and then my husband's a software engineer and he works from home as well. And so we're able to move around with our two kids. And so we are in Burley, Idaho, which no one's ever heard of it. It's a very little town. And then when it gets cold here, we like to go to Scottsdale. So I have family there and we just love it there. And then we kind of bounce around, like Hawaii here or there,
Yeah.
some random places. So, anyways, I just love it. It's kind of fun to be able to kind of go different places. It's hard with kids, but
Yeah.
they're figuring it out. They adapt easily.
It's so fun. You guys are like young snowbirds.
Yeah, that's what I say all the time. I'm like, why do we have to wait till we're old? I can do this now.
Yeah. Like the biggest thing on my heart is how did you get into what you're doing now? Because I think a lot of people are intrigued with the space and the realm that you're mastering and you're an expert in. Um, but like I know that you don't just like decide you're going to do it one day and you just do it. Like it is a calling. And
Yeah.
so maybe you can dive into some of that.
Yeah. I completely agree with you about the calling. And I feel like people go through experiences in their life that lead them to do what they love, mainly because they've experienced things that are, I don't know, difficult and challenging. And that's kind of where it was for me. So I'll try to like make it a little short because it's a long story. But I grew up with a mom who was a master herbalist. So, and a colon hydrotherapist. So from the very beginning, very young, I was learning about things that people don't know nowadays, the basics, like how to eat, really, how to exercise, all those things I was learning as a child. And so I did enjoy it as a teenager and I learned so much. So by the time I graduated high school, I knew more than the average person about health, the health industry. And my mom was very like against pharma and all of that way back when no one was. And so I knew so much information. And then I went off to college. I went to hair school, like we were talking about. I dove into that. I did not like it. But then that's what led me into like the partying phase of my life, the like 18 to 21. because how old am I? I'm gonna be 36. So I was really young, but that is where my body, I knew all these things from growing up, but my body did start to break down through the 4 a.m. going to bed, the McDonald's, the stress that was put on my body, the drinking, all of that. And my body did start to break down. And then I got married when I was 21 and I got pregnant. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about that.
Oh, you didn't. I did not
No.
know this was
It
also
gives me the
young.
chills talking about. I don't know why. I got
Yeah.
pregnant when I was 21. It was just a couple months after we got married. I got pregnant in November, and then in April, I actually found out that she didn't have a heartbeat. So I had lost her at like 6 months. So I was pretty far along. I was showing. It was very difficult, but through my pregnancy, I didn't feel good. I had really low iron. I had low minerals. My body was just not in a place to be able to hold a pregnancy. And so I went through the birth. I birthed her, had a stillbirth. I was able to, see her, say goodbye, hold her, all of those things. I know.
Maybe.
Very hard. And honestly, and yesterday was actually her birthday. So it was a very difficult time, but it also kind of like a huge learning experience for me of how it happens when you truly do abuse your body. And some people like to say, "Oh, well, it's just fate, it just happens." But in reality, w- the things we do impact our bodies.
Yeah.
And for me, there were choices I made that made my body unhealthy and unable to hold a pregnancy, and I'm okay with that. And so that is when I started my health journey. I started working on healing me and healing my body. I started my business then. I did get certified I was a personal trainer to start. And that's where kind of things started. And I really did enjoy that. But that's what led me to healing my body and then understanding women, their hormones, and also that working out and food is not everything that you need. You need so much more, especially us women. And so then I specialized in gut health, got my certification as a holistic nutritionist, and kind of it just went from there. I was able to fully heal my body and heal my gut when doctors told me for years that I would be on medication for the rest of my life and my thyroid wouldn't function properly and I have an eye disease that would never go away. And I was able to reverse and completely heal all of that. And it's just a testament to me that our bodies are miraculous. And like if yeah, I could just go on about it. Our bodies can heal from literally everything if we just believe that they can and if we put in the work. So, and that's kind of where my business kind of went and I've been doing it ever since and I love it.
That's incredible. First of all, you've lived 1,000,001 lives.
I kind of agree with
You've
that.
done so many things. But isn't it wild to see how life is just it's going to take you where you're ultimately meant to go and like but it's first going to teach you what you need to know so that way if you do go in like a service capacity, right, you can actually hold the people that you're going to be helping. You have to have gone through it, experienced it, overcome it first, I really believe, to be somebody that's like people feel safe with because they're like, "Oh, you get me. You understand this world."
And have
Um,
that compassion and that empathy for others that I feel like is
yeah.
such a piece that you need to help people heal because there's such a mental side to it that a lot of people don't even know. And I didn't know that. If someone had told me when I was 18, like, hey, the things you're going to experience in life are going to lead you to what you're meant to be and your calling, but it might be difficult and it might be hard. I didn't know that. I wish we need to prepare people for that, really. Like
Seriously.
in high school, because
Fine. It's gonna be like a few dark nights of the soul, but it's like, you're fine. You're fine.
a few.
I feel. Well, what I love too is like, well, actually, I like from the outside, I'm like, you've just really been following, your gut, literally. You're literally following your gut. Like you've been walking this path where it sounds like on the outside, like you're trusting, you're moving, you're feeling aligned. It's like it makes sense now from hearing the journey you've had a little bit that you would end up being, the specialist in the space. But do you feel like it was like that in a way where you always felt like you were trusting the process, knowing that these steps were taking you somewhere, even if you don't know where they were going?
I would say for the most part, I like to just say lead with my heart
Yeah.
in really everything I do. yes, I try to like logically think about things, but the truth is I go with how I'm feeling and what I feel is best for me, for my family, for my future. Most of the time, I don't some people want to like see the end goal or have answers before they dive in. I'm just like I'm going to dive head first if I feel in my heart like it's the best thing for me. And it's always worked out. Like literally every time. Sure, I like make mistakes along the way, but it does. It truly does always work out if you lead with your heart. I mean, I believe that.
I love that so much. But like, have you always walked with that knowing? Like, if you just lead with your heart?
I don't think consciously I've walked that way. Like, I don't think I knew that, but I have. Yes.
Yeah.
And I have most of my life. It's something that you realize you're doing as you get older. And I can't say why I came that maybe I just came that way. I don't know. And I think some of us truly are just better at doing that and then others learn along the way, but I'm really grateful that I had that at a young age because it's kind of guided me into the path that I'm at right now. So, yeah, I haven't even thought about that. I'm really grateful for that.
Well, me too, because when I'm connected with you, like without you even saying that, I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, this woman doesn't even know me, but somehow I feel like she does. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
somehow I feel like she's just like wrapping me in this hug and I'm totally safe. And I probably even cried on our call. I probably did
I
on our
remember.
on our
Well,
consult because
every woman I talk to does, and I
I
think that's just that connection like we talked about.
Yeah, it's this sense of just like, oh my gosh, I finally feel seen because I had been trying to be my own advocate with doctors for years. And I remember even like I'm young at the time, like I was, I think 29 or something. And I was having heart palpitations and I didn't know what to do. And so I went to go get an EKG. And it was this super old white dude. And not to like, it doesn't matter. It's an old man. It doesn't matter. But like, it felt like it did. It was like, wow, what a stereotype. So I go to this doctor and he's like, I guess we could do this test, but like, I think you're just a hypochondriac. And I remember sitting there being like, whoa,
Said
that
that?
was, yeah, he said that to me.
Oh,
And he's like, we'll do this test, but you're a hypochondriac. And I was like, that is not what a doctor should say. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I feel like that's not what a doctor should say. And I had multiple experiences like that where I was being told that like, you're probably just overthinking this. There's nothing wrong with you. Of course your test came back normal. Like there's nothing wrong with you. You need to get out of your head with this. And so it was just this like I don't even know how many years of a journey, honestly, of just being my own advocate. Probably since I was in my young 20s when really started to feel the effects. But when I collapsed on the ground at 29 or 20,
yeah,
maybe 28, I'm not sure, and got rushed to the ER, that's when I really started to, yeah, like really understand that even though everybody's telling me I'm fine, I'm not.
yeah,
And so, anyways, so when, I think maybe the women that are praying to you, right, we're crying when we finally get to you because it's like we finally feel like, oh my gosh, we're being seen. We're not being judged. We're not actually being told that anything's wrong with us. You're very confidently being like, "Oh, I get that. I actually like turn some of that stuff that same stuff around myself. Here's actually what it could be." And it's like all of a sudden you feel like you have answers
yeah,
and you
yeah,
have a plan for you and you just like you feel like yeah, you feel like you can breathe and then so much lifts from there.
yeah.
It's
And I
hope.
can't tell you every woman I talk to goes through that same thing where doctors and I want to I truly believe that doctors are a blessing and
Yes.
medication, it truly is there for a reason, but there is some corruption in the medical industry.
Mhm.
So I want to start there. But a lot of women do come to me and they say, I've been told that it's all in my head, that I'm a hypochondriac, that there's nothing wrong with me. And that's never the case, as you know. And it's just always interesting to me and very sad, honestly, that that is taking place, especially with women who are actually having health issues and struggles, and they're told essentially they're writing them off because they don't have answers for them. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what a lot of what I talk about and what I want to I want people to understand and know is the medical field and industry, like conventional medicine, truly is a blessing, but it's like think of it like there's like an electrician and they are helping people with certain things. but they don't know the whole spectrum of building a house. Like they don't know the plumbing and all of that. But the problem is they do think they do. And so when they don't have an answer, they say, well, nothing's wrong with you. Instead of, hey, maybe go see a plumber, or maybe go, this is just like I'm saying building a house. I don't know why I went there. But
Flow with it.
there's just so much that they don't know. They truly don't. And they're not gods. That's like I like to say that. Like a lot of doctors do believe that they're like a god and they know all. And so if they can't figure it out, they just tell you nothing's wrong with you instead of, hey, let me send you elsewhere, you know? And I've done that with you, I think, many times. Like, hey, here's something that we need to figure out, or I need to send you here, or you need to work with this person. Like, let's utilize all forms of medicine. And so that's like my beef with conventional medicine. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's use all forms of medicine, functional, conventional, Chinese medicine. You know, there's so many avenues to it. So, anyways, I could ramble about that for so long
Oh
because
my gosh,
it's
I could listen to it for so long because it's you have helped me create this new passion for holistic health in a whole new way than ever before. And what I love the most about working with you is like you create such a way for women to be like just true sovereign beings, like advocate for themselves, but also um have options. Like you can get like before working with you, like you literally go from thinking you have nothing, there's no hope for you, you're stuck and you're
yeah.
just trying to, you're like self-diagnosing things. Like me and WebMD became real close and I was like, no, I was like, there's no way I have 5 types of like diseases and stuff. Like, no. Yeah, and then you start assuming it's a specific thing. You know, I thought I had like the most general term autoimmune, but I was like, okay, so I guess like I just won't eat anything except for water for the rest of my life. And so where I'm going with this is like you then provide all these options for us that are fun and it makes you realize, oh, I was so focused on what wasn't working and feeling unhealthy and all the pain that I was totally not focusing on actually the realm of new that I get to step into that's actually really abundant. And so like you were saying before, it's mindset too. So maybe you can, I have so many questions because I feel like anybody listening who's maybe going through their health journey right now, or maybe they're like, wanting to start diving into their health journey. Maybe they don't necessarily know where to start. They feel overwhelmed. You know, obviously they can hop on a call with you. We have all your information in the show notes. But what do you maybe wish that you would have known before starting your health journey or when you were in the thick of it that would have just like made it so much more helpful to know? Or I know it's a broad question, but maybe like whatever comes to your mind first.
Yeah, so I mean, something did pop in my head. So, and I did a lot of the same thing, like going through all these things I could that were wrong and all trying all these things, trying all these supplements. And this is what most people do that I talk to, going to this doctor, that doctor, getting labs, and just nothing kind of works until you find that person. Obviously I'm biased and like I tell people all the time, like just set up a free call with me.
Yeah.
Like just let's just talk about it. Let me understand what's going on with you because there's so many avenues like you talked about that you just don't even people don't even understand. But if there's one thing I think that I wish I would have known, and that would be at the start to know how much trauma and nervous system plays into our health and plays into our physical health. Because there's a saying that says when your nervous system is out of balance, it's a downward spiral to disease. And so that's really truly stress and an imbalanced nervous system is where disease starts. And so if you could just I tell people like all the time, like, stop trying to be perfect with your diet and perfect with supplements and perfect with exercise. If you could work on balancing your nervous system, then everything else becomes a lot easier. Your body starts working and functioning properly. Um, and then you don't have to do as much. And then it also doesn't take so much, it doesn't take as long. You know, it took me, I'd say 5 years overall to fully heal my body. And that's because I didn't know in the very beginning how much the importance of the nervous system was. If I knew that, it would have taken me a year maybe. And so that's kind of the missing piece for I'd say 99% of people.
That's
And the more I do this, the more I realize that and understand that.
That's incredible also to think about how it's like we are really one system. There's so many components of it, but they all impact the whole.
Mhm.
And, just as somebody who's been able to be in your program, but then also, working now with your clients on the mindset side, realizing that when we're on the healing journey, it's a lot of fight or flight and not even realizing it. And it's like what you're saying, it's like that nervous system just being dysregulated, being all over the place, causing you to feel like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? Like, I don't know what's going on. And it's like, no, let's just bring you back to center and calm. And then let's dive into, okay, well, realizing there's so many parts of you. So it's not like what you're thinking it is it might go deeper. And so that's where the trauma, yeah, can come in.
Yeah. And most people don't know that they're in that fight or flight because they've been in it since childhood. They that's who they are. They exist like that and they have for years. And so they when I tell them that, sometimes it takes a while for them to understand it because they're like, "No, I feel fine. I don't feel stressed." Which is not the case, as you know. But for example, for me, when I finally realized all this and understood this, I went and did a modality called neurofeedback therapy. And because I was really struggling, I'd done everything you could possibly think of to heal. And I was really struggling digesting my food. My body wouldn't hold on to weight. I still had the pain and still had the problems. I did neurofeedback for 3 weeks. Within that time frame, my body all of a sudden I could digest my food, my stomach didn't hurt anymore. I finally gained like 15 pounds, all just balancing my nervous system. All of a sudden I could go out and eat pizza and ice cream, and it had nothing to do with my supplements or vitamins or labs or my diet. It's just you're in fight or flight and your body doesn't function when you're in there in that realm. So, yeah, I'm really passionate about it and just women understanding the importance of it to the point where now when someone starts with me, I actually get them started on something right away with that before even like introducing any other changes. So,
Wow. Well, what's so cool to me is that, like, as you're learning and diving into this stuff, like, you are continuing to evolve your program in
yeah.
the way that you help people. So it's like it's just so beautiful. And I love what you do. Okay, so further evidence to me of everything that you're talking about with like emotions and
You.
the body, like all of it being connected. So you have a lot of protocols that you put us on, right, when we're in your program. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful because it's like I wouldn't have taken myself on that specific cleanse or that specific order of doing things. And what I find is so interesting is that every time that we detox on these protocols, you're not just detoxing the body, flushing out toxins, you are also detoxing emotionally. And it's funny because I started diving into like Joe Dispenza work a while ago, and then he randomly came back into my world, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll dive deeper. And I started actually understanding more about epigenetics and how it's like the cell, like it has the ability to like turn itself over and like be healthy, but it's doing that based off the environment of the cell. It's not the cell, it's the environment of the cell. And so what's around that environment is dependent on what's being put in the body. That is everything from food, how we nurture ourselves with nutrition, but it's also emotions and stress or not stress, happiness, joy, all the range of emotions. And those start to harbor around the cell to create an environment. And so I mean, there's so much I could go into on this, but like the more that you continue to just be the same, like live the same life, operate in the same way that you've always operated, do the same routine every day, think the same thoughts, have the same conversations, do the same life every single day, you're just nurturing the environment around the cell to just strengthen. And if you're happy and you're in flow and you're feeling like your life is blissful, beautiful, then keep nurturing that environment. Keep doing the things. But if you're feeling stuck and stagnant in your life and you feel like you're just trapped, like you're also creating that environment for yourselves. So in order to change actually internally, you have to externally change your environment. Actually that does play a part because that's also feeding your body to the point where it's actually building walls around your cell, nurturing your cell based off what you're putting in it emotions wise too. And so I find it's interesting that when you do these detoxes, you're not just detoxing the toxins, you're also detoxing emotions. So you'll have huge emotional purges too. Like doing the parasite cleanse, I was like, first of all, I didn't see any parasites, but you were like, no, they're microscopic. So you shouldn't unless they've been in there for a long, long time. So that made me feel good. But what I was experiencing though was like tons of like anger and memories of stuff I totally forgot about. My dreams got really weird. I would feel really exhausted and I'd just like cry. And I was just like going through that really intensely for the first couple weeks. And then as the protocol went on, that started to lessen and calm and I started to feel more joyful. And then I could see, oh my God, I was nurturing an environment just because it was muscle memory of fight or flight
Yeah.
and all these intense emotions that I didn't even know. And it took me doing these cleanses and protocols that you gave for this stuff that was stuck in there because it holds on like glue the longer that you operate this way to, yeah, flush out. So I know that was a long rant, but it blows my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy to me how because I've been diving into this too with the vitality breathwork stuff that I've been
Yes.
doing and how energy and emotions are stored in the body just like parasites or heavy metals or bad food, all of the toxins, they're stored within our cells and around our cells and in our tissue and so like it's so important. And most people just don't even know that about this or that it exists. They kind of think it's like voodoo work when in reality like energy is such a real thing that we all need to learn about and understand. And for example, I have to tell you this. I don't know if I told you this story about the first breath work thing that I did with Vitality. It was 3 hours and I had jaw pain for my like entire life. And my counselor even said that I store my emotions in my jaw. And so I went and did that breath work and I released like so much emotion. And after that, my jaw pain was gone. It was gone. For the first time in my entire life, all of a sudden my jaw, I think, was able to heal and to release whatever I was storing in there. And so it's just, yeah, it's a real physical thing that people don't understand that it's not fake and it's not phony. Your body is truly storing energy. And most of the time, that's why people are sick. I mean, 100%. Like after doing this now for 15 plus years, it's just evidence to me, with all the women I've worked with, that that is the key piece. That's why we'll see so many women say, I've done so many programs, taken every supplement on the planet, had tried every diet. This is why. And most of the time, the people do struggle kind of attacking that piece of it because it is difficult. It is a challenge. It's easy to go to switch your diet or to take a supplement. It is very hard to work through your trauma and to release those emotions and to make those changes you need to make in your life or your lifestyle, whatever that is. That's the hard part. But
Yes.
it's the healing piece that I just want everybody to know about, which is
Yeah.
why I love you and why I love that you're with me.
Well, I love you so much because I love that you understand this too. And you've also taught me so much about this connection as, I've been diving into all this too. And it's like, I feel like we're both connecting all these dots that just like, it's like, oh, of course that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the trauma comes up in ways we don't even realize it's there. I was chatting with some of the girls in the group today and they were sharing their stress about the upcoming holiday, right? Easter's coming up. It tends to be like a treat and snacky time. And I totally get it. They were like, I'm super stressed about this and the food. Oh my gosh, the food, what do I do? And then they were like bypassing themselves with the fact that it was about to be a toxic environment that they were going to be in. They were super stressed. Their kids were about to have to deal with toxicity in this environment. Every time they share their needs are not being heard. They're being gaslit by their families, and there's all these things. But they were worried about the food.
I know.
And I was like, listen, you
Just
could,
eat all the candy you want,
yeah,
really.
I'm not gonna, prescribe that, but I was like, you could, go in having already ate a little bit, so that way you've already like nurtured yourself in a way you need, and then, moderation once you get there, that's fine. You're human, live your life. That's one thing you really taught me is that this is about a lifestyle change, not about a protocol, not
Yeah.
about a program. We're helping you shift for life. So, but anyways, I was like, yeah, you could do that, right? And that's one option. Or you could actually get to the root of what's going on, not realizing that all the stress that you're worried about with your family is actually more of the issue because that is causing, just like what you said, right? The nervous system dysregulation, but it's also causing tons of inflammation in the body because you're going to be in that uneasy fight or flight state, worrying. And then on top of that, you're going to then worry about the food because you think that's what it is. And it's like, yeah, they all play a part. And so that's one thing I love about you and I is that we bring all of those together. Um, so, oh my gosh, I feel like I could go on about all of this too.
It's cool too because, well, not cool, it's just fascinating to me that I think people do that because they can control what they eat. Yeah, I mean, you can truly control what goes in your mouth, what doesn't go in your mouth. And so that's where they focus instead of like, hey, I can't really control the people. I mean, you can control who you're around, but I can't make my family be nicer or make them be less toxic. And that is more difficult and you have less control there. And so people always go to the supplements or the diet or like those things they have control over
Mm,
instead of the more important piece that you're talking about. That
yeah.
takes a lot of work, you know, to cut to even sometimes cut out people who are adding to that is very it's hard to do. I mean, I've been there and I've
Yeah.
had to do that. We all have really.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, right? There's this seeming sense that we have more control over the food
Mhm.
versus our families and stuff because that feels much more outside of our control. But I
Yeah.
do want to, like, for anybody listening, I do think it's important to remember that everything in our life gets to change if we wanted to because it's everything is stemming from the source that is us. So if you want something like family dynamics to change, you have to realize that you're not just at the mercy of your family. It might feel like that because maybe it's just been this way for so long, but you can tell yourself, you know what, I get to operate different with my family. How they perceive me and respond is not my responsibility. And they can either, appreciate that, or maybe I just will stop showing up, or maybe I'm just going to vocalize my thoughts. And if they perceive it in a way that doesn't make me feel good, that's not my responsibility. And so what it is it's practice. It's a reparenting of yourself to remind yourself that you can only do what you can do, and coming first is the most important thing. But I just don't want people to feel like, even though it seems like we don't have control over family stuff, you have control over your life. And so what I tell people sometimes, I'm like, it might be hard, it might suck, but like you don't have to go to these things. I stopped doing that with my family a long time ago. And my family members that are in my life are in my life. And the ones that, we just kind of it sucks. I hate to be like that because like now I'm going down a weird rabbit hole. I'm a big believer we always have power within our lives, even amongst the external. That feels like we don't, because we get to choose what we allow in, how we show up, what we allow to penetrate our subconscious and our emotions, all the things. So,
Well,
um,
and what energy we bring there.
yes.
I see a lot of people go to a family function and they kind of fall back into that, you know, those lower vibrations instead of, okay, let me come with love and gratitude and all those higher emotions and vibrations. And it affects everybody around them. And I think you taught me that when I can't remember what it was where we talked about love and how I just need to show myself love. And then it just kind of affects every single person around me. And I've noticed a huge change in just my entire life when I do that. And I have full control over that. You know, I can love myself and show myself that love. And it's like a waterfall effect or no, what's the word? What's the phrase? I don't know what it is.
I
Anyways.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is just that powerful. And one thing I'm really diving into is why that's actually really powerful. And it's because our heart, and when we can tap into that and we can feel the abundance of gratitude and all the higher vibrational emotions, that's actually us expanding our container. And so the more energetically you can become, or the more you can expand your personal sense of self, that equals the more abundance that can come into your field. There's so many things that are trying to come into our world all the time to like support us, bring us more abundance, good fortune, cool circumstances, opportunities. But it's when we can really only receive it when we can hold it. And so doing things like connecting with your heart, really diving into loving yourself regardless, like owning your boundaries, standing up for yourself, journaling, meditating, nurturing yourself with like proper food and things that make you feel good. When you do all of that, it's not just because it's like it's good to journal and it's good to like meditate and like we know we should do it because we're told that's like really good for mindfulness. Yes, and it's also you expanding your ability to receive, which is our birthright. And the more that we can allow ourselves to expand and feel safe in that, what happens is that we actually end up life, we don't have to do so much to receive all the things that we want, including the way people respond to us. It's like things just start to shift on their own because we are expanding into a higher vibrational version of ourselves. Like, I'm hoping this is making sense because I know
Yep,
I can
yeah,
kind of
it
go down
does.
these rabbit holes, but
No, it totally makes sense. And I feel like that's something that I strive for. Obviously, I'm not perfect at it, but I strive to be that way because I feel like it's just, I impact the world around me by doing that. And I impact everyone I come in contact with when I try to do that. You know, obviously we're not perfect, we have our moments. And I'm huge on let's not be perfect. Let's just do our best because we truly are all doing our best. And so I'm really, and I learned so much of this from you. If yeah, and if anyone listening, like work with Jesi. She's incredible. I can jump on a call with you to talk about something that I'm struggling with. And I feel like you help me understand that I already knew kind of the answers and I already know in my heart and my body knows what I need. And it's like you pull that out of me. And it's just the most amazing thing ever. I need to jump on another call with you about like many things.
so honored. I'm so honored. Thank you very, very much.
Yes.
And I just like, yeah, I love all of your words just in general. I think you said it beautiful around just like the heart space.
Mhm.
And not even trying to be it's not about perfection. It's about self-compassion and meeting yourself where you're at. And you do that so beautifully. And you encourage women to do that so beautifully. And that's so what's needed in this world, on this planet. Like, so I love what you do. Okay, so with my intuition leading me, I did not plan to talk about this, but for some reason I'm feeling called to ask you this. And if you're like, what about it? Then we can move on. But like my gut is telling me to ask you about muscle testing. And I don't know really why. Like maybe, it's something that I have been intrigued with, and I have personally felt like everybody's saying, like, just muscle test it. Just muscle test it. I use myself as a pendulum a lot to get my yeses and nos, but I think that maybe one like muscle testing would help me not second guess a little bit of that pendulum that I get sometimes because I'm like, is that my ego actually doing that, or is that actually my truth? So maybe you can take it away.
Love muscle testing. And I don't think you and I have ever talked about this, but essentially, like if anyone's listening, it's the like term for it is applied kinesiology.
Oh,
That is what muscle testing is. And it's using energy, your own muscles, to test positively or negatively for literally anything in your life. Relationships, what's going on, what's best for you, what supplements you need. A lot of functional practitioners will use that. Some of them not great, but some of them use it really well to truly test the body for what it needs. And I love it. I think that it's best to be done. It's hard to do it on yourself unless you're really good at trusting yourself and you're yeah, like that ego thing. It's a challenge. So I like to muscle test on other people like you would muscle test me and vice versa. And I like to just do it with the arm. So like you hold your arm out and you'll have someone else muscle test you. Like you have your boyfriend do it. You'd say, "Hey, is this the supplement?" You'd hold it on your heart that I need. He would push down, and if it's weak, then you don't need it. If it's holds strong, then you do need it. Your body is saying yes to it essentially. It's really muscle testing is your body saying this is what it wants. And so you can muscle test for anything. If you can listen to your body in those moments, it's absolutely incredible. And I don't know if it's confusing to anyone listening because it is a little weird, but at the same time, like they've used applied kinesiology for thousands of years. That's how they did things before they did labs. They used labs before like medical
really?
doctors came around. So yeah, I love it. I actually go see a naturopathic doctor myself that does muscle testing because I like to just have that second pair of eyes. If there's something that I need or I want, I always have her muscle test me for it.
Okay, I'm so glad I asked you that. And you know
Yeah.
what? I think that we like to overcomplicate things. And actually, what you're saying doesn't sound confusing or
Oh, does
overcomplicated.
it?
No, it actually makes sense as you're explaining it because I was overcomplicating it in my head, thinking it had to be so much more than that for what it does. I was like, okay, that must be part of it, but like, there's a deeper science and stuff to it. There has to, I was like trying to like reason and logic my way into something that's not for this.
Trust your body saying yes or no. That's
Yeah.
truly like the at the core what it is, and it's beautiful.
Have
I love that.
have you found that you feel even more deeper connected to your person, to your vessel, to your body through playing with things like muscle testing?
Yeah, yeah. I like doing it with of another person, obviously. Because I do question my it's so funny. I've been doing this for 15 years and I still question when it comes to me. Like, is this the right thing for me? And so having someone else kind of validate what my body's already telling me, what I'm muscle tested myself for, to have someone else muscle test me and say, "Yeah, you are correct." And and muscle testing is kind of going back to like intuition. Truly, like, if you're really truly listening to your intuition, that is your body telling you what it needs, what it wants, what it desires, what's good for you. That's what muscle testing is. So, and I've never thought about that now until now. So,
It's just I'm glad it came up to ask you because that was
yeah.
definitely not on my heart initially when we started the episode, but it just came through.
Yeah.
So
Well, and
I'll
I'm
have to.
thinking of getting certified in muscle testing to
There it
help my
is.
I know, to help my clients because you can muscle test over the phone. So you can actually muscle test yourself for someone else over the phone. And so I'm able to test people. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been seeing them.
So don't even think about it. Just do it. This is
I know, I need to. It's funny you brought
what? That's wild. Yeah, it was just screaming. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna ask it. I don't have
it.
necessarily a plan for that question, but here we are. See, isn't it fun? It's fun to let your intuition lead
Yeah.
because it feels good. It's never just serving yourself. It's serving the people around you or the people that you're going to impact with the doings that it's encouraging you to do. So yeah, it's fun just to listen to it and to go for it. Um, they're so fun. So, before we let you go, before I ask you my last question, where can people find you? How can they connect with you? Do you have anything that you're excited about right now?
Yeah, if you want to connect with me, the easiest place is just my Instagram. So it's the gut mechanic. You can just message me on there. You can always email me, but that's the simplest and easiest way. I'm really personal when I'm working with clients. And so I'm the one answering my messages. Frequently, I give my phone number out to clients or to clients who are going to work with me. I want to connect with you one on one. So message me, I'll give you my phone number and I'd love to connect with anyone. And I don't charge anybody until I know what's going on, how I can help you, and if I know exactly what's going on. And I don't claim to know everything. I will refer people out sometimes and say, "Hey, I don't know all the answers, but so and so knows more about this than I do." And it's really a beautiful thing that I have a group of people that I'm able to do that with. So,
Yeah. Connie is the most humble person. She knows so much about
nice.
this space. She's a force and has so many resources and people that can help you. I mean, just look at her Instagram. Go to her Instagram if you need help with anything, literally supplements, hair, nails, skin, tanning, like all of it, just holistic products. Like she's going to be your go-to. You're going to fall in love with her. And before you know it, like you'll probably just get on a call because she's just such a beautiful energy. So, is there anything else? Thank you for all of that, by the way. And do you have any like programs or anything, or is it mostly just like connecting with you on a call?
Yeah, and that's funny that we're on a call right now because I am actually doing a free 7-day challenge and it starts on Monday. So I don't know when you'll launch this podcast, but I will be doing these more frequently. And so if you miss this one, look out for the next one. I like to post it on my Instagram. They're really great just to kind of understand what we do. I jump on live during those 7 days every single night so I can connect with the ladies and I can help them as much as I possibly can during that 7 days. And then I like to give like a discount for working with me. So if you do want to jump in, now's the time. On Monday, it starts. I'm
Well,
super excited about it.
this will be launching Monday, so this is
Okay,
actually absolutely perfect.
awesome.
Oh my gosh, look at the divine timing.
I know.
Um, Amazing. So, okay, so before we let you go, I know I keep saying that. Is there any like last words of wisdom you would love to give the woman listening right now that's just taking this in, is feeling inspired, but also feeling like she's got quite a road ahead of her? Anything that you would share with her to just connect that she might need right now?
Yeah. It gives me the chills a little bit thinking about, but just thinking back to my journey and what I went through, if you're listening and I just want women to know in their and trust in their body's ability to heal. Because the conventional medicine world, what we're all used to, truly does tell us that if our body is broken, that it will stay that way. That is like the biggest lie on the planet, and it is not true. And I have worked with women, I have seen women and talked to them, so many of them over like the entire world, really. You can truly heal from anything. And I am speaking of like the big ones: cancer, endometriosis, all thyroid issues, hormone issues, skin issues, gut issues. You can heal. Does it take time? Like, absolutely. It takes time and effort and energy and all of those things, but you can fix everything going on with your body. And that's what I really want women to understand is, do not believe that your body is broken. If I had believed that years ago, I would be in such a different place. But that was one thing that I really held on to was, I know that my body can heal. I know that my thyroid can heal, that my eyes can heal, and I absolutely did. I got rid of 4 or 5 diagnosed diseases that I no longer have. And so just know that. And if you need me to give you a pep talk, please reach out to me.
She's the best at pep talks.
I know.
Making you realize you're not crazy.
Yeah,
It's just a cleanse.
that's what I do. Yeah. It's not you.
It's a cleanse. It's fine. Oh my gosh, you're just such a blessing. Thank you for being on today and all of your time and your energy and sharing your journey and how you follow literally your intuition, your gut, your knowings, and for serving the world and women in one of the most powerful ways. Makes me emotional because you have genuinely changed my life.
Thank you. Love you.
So I just love you.
Okay. I'm just so honored and blessed to be on here with you anytime. Seriously. If you want to dive into like one topic or another, you let me know.
I'm like, you guys get ready because we're probably gonna have to do multiple of these because we just scratched the surface. We haven't even dove into like all the realms that you and I dived into like on a personal level. Like when we're just texting, it's like, no, we have so much more to share. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, connect with Tahnee. Info is in the show notes. Go to her page, The Gut Mechanic, and it'll be your favorite new page.
Thanks, guys.